Hello, I'm Alex Kogan. My presentation is about Frank King and how he explored modern art in his comic. Frank King was an American cartoonist who lived from 1883 to 1969. He was born in Cashton, Wisconsin, was an artist for all of his life. He worked as an illustrator for the Minneapolis Times for a little bit before he went to school at the Chicago Institute of Fine Arts in 1905. After graduating a year later, he got a job at the Chicago Tribune, worked there until retirement in the 1950s. He and his wife were adventurous people. They went on frequent camping trips around the country, and those camping trips inspired his love of nature and the events of his comic Gasoline Alley. King was also inspired by modern art. He, of course, studied at the Chicago Institute of Fine Arts, as I mentioned before, but he also attended the Armory Show in 1913, which was a showcase of modern art at the time. Now, modern art is less of an individual art movement and more of a period of art. It lasted from the mid 19th century to around the 1960s or 70s. It encompassed many movements, styles like Cubism, Expressionism, Realism, and Surrealism, Impressionism, and others, just to name a few. Um, some of the hallmarks of modernist art movements are abstractions, avant garde styles, and an exploration of new techniques and materials, such as layering paint and adding more textures, or sculptures, collage, just a whole bunch of different techniques. And Frank King explored many of these art styles in his comic Gasoline Alley. He did this for generally two purposes, either to simply explore the art and have the characters either exist in this artistic style or to explore it and comment on it, or he used an art style to lend itself to the landscape and have the beauty of it enhance the moment happening between two characters. We'll explore examples of both of those. Um, so, for the first part, we see the main characters, Walt and Skeezix, who are exploring a kind of geometric, more abstract art style. Skeezix is showing Walt that he got a new compass. Walt shows him some techniques on how to use it, and they comment on how circles can be used for uh, natural shapes and landscape art. In this next strip from 1928, we see Walton Skeezix exploring silhouette art. Now, silhouette art is significantly older than the modern art period. However, the way that it's used here with the um, less like silhouette portraits, which were more common back then, but we see specifically shadow art cut out from paper with colored backgrounds. Um, we see them existing entirely in profile, as you can see from these two up here, which show more of the normal Gasoline Alley art style. They are not in flat profile, but as soon as they switch to the more shadowed versions, they are. This strip from 1930 is extremely interesting um, because in this one, King explores how a comic can be used to divide up moments in time, but not necessarily different geography. If you look at the um, if you look at the coastline here, you can see that everything, all the landscape and all the background characters, other than Walton Skeezix here, are continuous throughout every single cell. They carry over, and it's Walton Skeezix moving through here. the motion makes it appear that it's a continuous thing, with the green girl here running towards Walt, and then them bumping into each other. However, you can see here that the woman carries over. So it's, an exploration of how the comic medium can be manipulated through a different art style. Or I guess this would be a different perspective style. Here we can see Walton Skeezix directly exploring and commenting on modernism as a whole. This is a abstract landscape that they enter and start exploring. We see some hallmarks of cubism, some altered geometry. This violin here might be a reference to Picasso, one of his famous collages. And we see the characters directly commenting on and observing the art style itself. However, King also uses these kinds of impressionist art styles to explore the landscape and appreciate nature. So this one is kind of bridging the gap between exploring the style itself and exploring and appreciating nature, and accenting a interaction between the characters. Here we can see at the top Walt telling Skeezix that they're in the style of woodcut pictures, which is a printing medium. We can see hallmarks of the woodcut style with the lines here that would be carved into the wood and then inked. However, it's not the main focus. The main focus of this strip is this conversation about how trees prepare to hibernate through the winter, and Skeezix learning about nature and appreciating it, which carries over into one of the bigger themes of Gasoline Alley. Every fall, as the seasons were changing, King would illustrate this with a soft color palette, and he would have Walton Skeezix go on a drive, go walk around nature, talk about and appreciate it. And he used this color palette with vibrant colors to accentuate this moment between the characters, while Walt waxes poetic about the changing of the seasons. So Frank King, by exploring modern art in this way, was able to comment on art styles that he found visually interesting, use them to put the characters in new situations, and also use it to enhance scenes that just had these two characters talking, interacting, and appreciating nature.